Today's bite-sized episode is sponsored by AG1, one of the most nutrient-dense whole food supplements that I've come across, and I myself have been drinking it regularly for over 5 years. It contains vitamins, minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, and so much more, and can help with energy, focus, gut health, digestion, and support a healthy immune system. For the month of April only, AG1 are offering a free morning person hat, bottle of vitamin D, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription. Just go to drinkag1.com/live more to unlock this exclusive offer and get started on your journey to better health today. Welcome to Feel Better, Live More Bite Size, your weekly dose of positivity and optimism to get you ready for the weekend. Today's clip is from episode 476 of the podcast with Buddhist monk and author Haemin Sunim. In our rush to achieve and reach our goals, we can often miss the beauty and richness of our current experiences. And in this clip, we discuss the importance of slowing down and being present. And with that in mind, Haemin shares some practical tips for mindfulness that can help us reconnect with ourselves and the world around us. Talk to me about small but certain happiness. I think it's a very simple concept that I think everyone's going to resonate with.
I think oftentimes people imagine that they will finally, feel happy and I will be able to relax only when I achieve, some monumental goals in my life, such as maybe marrying somebody, love of your life, or, buying your first home, or getting promoted to the position that you really want. But while you are getting there, you also have to live your life. And it usually takes a long time to arrive at your goal. So I think it's important we look for what I would call small but certain happiness. This is not my idea. This is an idea that many people propose. But I think it is so important to look for something that's going to for sure make you happy. And then do it again and again and again.
Just speaking to what you just said now, it's just so simple. You say this, for some, the fragrant smell of freshly made morning coffee is a time of peace and happiness. While for others, it could be the warmth of the sun on their face, the sight of spring flowers, the feel of a cozy blanket on a chilly day, or simply spending time with their dog or cat after work. Now, here's the thing, Haemin. A lot of people listening are experiencing those things every day, but many won't have put the spotlight of gratitude onto them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say someone has got half an hour to get up and get ready for work and get the kids, off to school or whatever it might be. They might make their morning coffee, rush and slurp it down whilst also getting things ready for work, right? So they've still had the experience of drinking freshly made morning coffee, but the intention behind it is very different.
Right. So it takes only 10 seconds.
Okay.
That is, wait, I'm just going to actually enjoy the smell of freshly made coffee, this intentions. And then you pause a little bit and then you re-engage with the experience. And from that moment, you say, wow, this is happiness.
Yeah.
Rather than searching for some, big things in your life, big success to be happy, maybe this is what I was after,
Yeah. I like that idea that it only takes 10 seconds or even 5 seconds. Sure, you're in a rush in the morning. Just take a simple pause, 30 seconds, smell the coffee, quite literally, let it tickle your senses.
Right.
Just that act, you're just starting to open up the door to appreciation, aren't you?
Right.
Again, one of the reasons I feel, generally speaking, so calm and content these days, and dare I say it, happy, is because I believe that, and you write about this idea in your book, that where you put your focus, that's what starts to grow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we have to make a decision. We have to decide to appreciate our lives. We have to decide to enjoy this moment. Once you decided that I'm going to enjoy this moment, it makes it much easier to appreciate things. Without that intention, it's hard. The life just passes us by, and without really, becoming aware of what we are having it.
I love that. Let's just pause on that for a moment. You're saying you have to decide that you are going to enjoy the moment that's about to be there in front of you, right? Now, I think many people believe that the moment will determine whether I feel enjoyment. If it is a fun and enjoyable moment, I will feel happy. If it is a negative moment, I will feel negative and sad. But you're saying something completely different, which is before the moment arises, you have to positively decide, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yes, because if you are just reacting, you are the victim. You will become the victim of the situations. And there are a lot of things that's happening to you, and you'll be pulled, towards many different directions. However, I think we have to be proactive, rather than being reactive. So once you decide, how you're going to do or how you're going to feel, then oftentimes that's the experience you're going to have.
Yeah. There's also this lovely concept of appreciation versus ownership that you write about. If you view happiness as a matter of appreciation rather than ownership, many things you can't own, such as the sunlight in your room, the laughter of children, a loving embrace, the colors of autumn foliage, a stunning sunset, the soothing sounds of music at night, the triumph of your favorite sports team, these things can bring happiness into your life. The important thing is whether you can slow down and appreciate life. I really like that. It's the same ideas that we've just been talking about, but it's a really beautiful concept. Think about the things that you can't own. That's really nice. It's a really nice place to put your focus on, I think.
Yes, I think we need to shift our idea, away from ownership to appreciations, when it comes to happiness. There are lots and lots of things in our lives we cannot own, even if we own something, in the grand scheme of things, we are just temporarily, caretaking or guarding, whatever that is. It can be very expensive, paintings or, whatever. So at the end, it's a matter of, appreciations. If you own wonderful things, if you are not appreciating, then what's the point?
Yeah. Do you think being happy is our true nature?
Yes. People often think, happiness means excitement. When we are excited, then we feel happy. But if we want everlasting happiness, then excitement, you cannot sustain it for a long time. It fades, it disappears. So what we really want is some quality of peace, in happiness experience, happy experience.
Yeah.
So our true nature, I believe, is in a state of peace. And when we are not trying to go somewhere or arrive at other places, and yet you are relaxed, here and now, and you are content with what you already have, or you feel grateful for what you already have, then that's where the happiness lives, rather than constantly trying to go somewhere. Like what you said earlier, when I was younger, I thought that by going to abroad, that's where, happiness will, reside, or by trying to have some special kind of enlightenment experience, for me it was, then I will finally be able to feel happiness. Then later I realized that the very seeking of those experience, the very trying to go away from right now, right here, that was the cause of unhappiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I love that. I also love what you said about the seeking of happiness is fundamentally flawed. And so if someone asked you, how do you know when you're happy? What answer would you give?
I think gratitude, is another name for happiness.
Mm-hmm.
As I was coming to see you, I was inside the train and looking out beautiful countryside of the United Kingdom. Oh, and I was thinking to myself, this is wonderful. I get to have this beautiful experience, and I feel very grateful for the opportunity. And as I was tapping into the gratitude, I felt really happy. So when we are practicing gratitude, we are happy at where we are. We are not trying to grasp onto something that we don't have, or resisting what we already have. Instead, we are just thankful for where we are, and I think that's where happiness resides. You can just start with just small thing in your life, and as you are counting your blessing, and you will see that more opportunities, unexpected opportunities will come to you.
Yeah, it's a practice, isn't it? It's something you get better at the more you do.
Right. Generally speaking, when we think about things, we always think about negative things, problems that we have to deal with, or, the task that I have to finish. So thereby we feel a lot of stress. However, when we practice gratitude, rather than going into that thinking mind, we are actually looking for what is there to feel, grateful for at this moment, because we are practicing this gratitude.
Yeah. One of the other lines that resonated with me in your new book was this one: if you can control your ambition, you won't overextend yourself. If you do not overextend, you will not harm your health. If your health is good, your mind becomes balanced easily. If your mind is balanced, you will find happiness in little things. It's this beautiful loop where everything feeds each other. But that first bit, I think, is key. If you can control your ambition, you won't overextend yourself. And often burnout comes as a consequence of unchecked ambition. How do you control your ambition?
People tend to have this imaginations that once I achieve such and such, then my, life will have worth, I'll be worthy, But investigate where that feeling of lack, feeling of insufficiency is coming from. You imagine that it is the outside achievements is going to make you feel that you are finally worthy. But maybe it is, unloved and uncared past experience, while growing up. Maybe that is like, a little child within you. It is still asking you to pay attention to me more, So rather than zeroing on it's just outside goals to make you feel like finally maybe I am somebody, you can just go directly to the source. What is the very force that keeps on making me work, I don't know, like, 80 hours or 100 hours a week, while not spending any time at all with my family, or close friends. So I think it's important to check your own ambitions and see people around you. And if you are maintaining, harmonious relationship with them, because at the end, you want to be happy together. You don't want to be just happy by yourself.
Yeah. When I was researching your own story one of the things that resonated with me the most was something that I also discovered early on in my career as a doctor, which was the power of listening. And you tell the story, or I've heard you tell the story, that when you were a monk, suddenly people would come up to you and ask you all kinds of things afterwards that you didn't feel equipped to answer, but you learned a powerful lesson, didn't you?
Yes.
Could you share that? I think it's so powerful, and I think it's so applicable to all of us.
I think most people, they just want to be heard, and they want somebody there to witness, what's happening in their lives. And especially if the person is listening with a sense of empathy, then you will feel a lot better afterwards. You realize that you are not alone, going through this very challenging experience in your life. And also, people already know the answer to their problem. It's just that in their head, it's disorganized and you are not actually asking the right questions. And therefore, you think you don't know the answers. But as you are listening to what they have to say, as you are untangle what's happened, and you begin to really see the answer that you've been seeking was right in front of you.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most powerful realizations I've had in my own career. And I won't tell the story again because I've told it before on this podcast. But in my very first week as a GP, I learned that lesson when I didn't really know exactly what to do with a patient. So I just listened attentively and would see the patient back every week. And she got better. Because as you said, she knew the answers. But what she didn't have in her life was someone who she could talk to and open up to, and they weren't going to judge her. And I think you said also, you've mentioned it, you wrote about it in the book, how sometimes that's the role a therapist will play, where people can actually speak, get in touch with their emotions, express them without fear of judgment or being cut off. And you often find those answers yourself. I think it also speaks to this idea, one of the central ideas in your work in Buddhist philosophy, that all the answers are within. The happiness is already there. We're not looking for it outside. We just need to get out of its way.
And relax into it.
But of course, that's difficult for people when they're feeling rushed all the time and stressed all the time. And you literally see the world differently when you're rushing. You covered that in one of your previous books, didn't you?
Right. People love the title, things you can see only when you slow down, know?
Great title.
Yeah. I think we need to just periodically pause and see if you can slow down. And when we are slowing down, then we can actually see and appreciate our life that is quickly passing in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of these practices do, a gratitude practice, or just taking 10, 15 seconds to smell that fresh tea or that fresh coffee and let the aroma go into you and surround you. I think one of the things it does, if you're leading a busy life, is number one, it forces you to slow down. But number two, it reminds you what the feeling of slow feels like.
Yeah.
You had the great fortune of spending some time with the great Thich Nhat Hanh. Could you share some of the key things you learned from him with us?
I loved his walking meditations. He said, walk as though your feet are, kissing the earth. To me, that teaching was such a powerful, one. And because we often just think about, I have to arrive at a certain place, and without paying attention to actual process of walking itself. And instead, can you just say, I'm going to enjoy my walking. I'm going to kiss the earth as I am taking my step. I think that's a really wonderful way to start our day.
Very mindful, very present, very evocative thought, kissing the earth as you walk. Hope you enjoyed that bite-sized clip. Do spread the love by sharing this episode with your friends and family. And if you want more, why not go back and listen to the original full conversation with my guest? If you enjoyed this episode, I think you will really enjoy my bite-sized Friday email. It's called the Friday 5, and each week I share things that I do not share on social media. It contains 5 short doses of positivity, articles or books that I'm reading, quotes that I'm thinking about, exciting research I've come across, and so much more. I really think you're going to love it. The goal is for it to be a small yet powerful dose of feel good to get you ready for the weekend. You can sign up for it free of charge at drchatterjee.com/Friday 5. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you have pressed subscribe, and I'll be back next week with my long-form conversation on Wednesday and the latest episode of Bite Size next Friday.